Hey sis, hey, this is Kristen Ogundere checking in with you with another episode of Her Steps Are Ordered podcast. Welcome sis, welcome. Welcome to all the new subscribers that have taken the time out to click that subscribe button and just tune in and watch all the things that we've been talking about. This is where we talk about all things faith, womanhood, and beyond. So I would like to just say welcome back, sis. If this is your first time, welcome to you again, sis. Welcome back to also my current subscribers. Thank you so much for taking the time out to tune in. Sis, we have officially reached the end of the month of May, which I think is such a blessing. It's a blessing to make it through another month, but with each month, one thing that I have been very intentional about is making sure that I write some goals down, making sure that I write some things down that I personally would want to achieve. It doesn't necessarily have to be within the month, but it could possibly be within the year. It could possibly be within I don't know, maybe it might not get accomplished until the next year, but just to start taking some looks at some things that God has placed on my heart to accomplish or to do, to want to, look forward to doing. So with this being almost the last official day of this month of May, as we're coming to a close in this month, I want you to think about some things. I want you to get intentional if you haven't already been intentional about the things that concerning you that God has for you to do. What has God been pressing upon your heart to do within this past month? Have you wrote it down? Have you wrote down anything, any type of vision that God has had for you for the month? Because sometimes God gives us all a vision, of course, but he also gives us a plan. He gives us a plan for the vision that he's given us. And we have to be intentional about setting aside time to hear the voice of God and what he is speaking to us in this very moment in time. It's important that as a woman, especially if you are a mother, a wife, if you are a leader in any type of capacity, you don't necessarily have to be a mother. You don't necessarily have to be a wife to be a leader in any type of capacity. You can be a leader in your workplace. You can be a supervisor. You can be a manager. You can be any of those things, but it's important to have some type of order when it comes to your life, when it comes to your intentions and what you are trying to accomplish, like personal goals, whether it be developmental skills, whether it be developmental growth, whether it be health management for your health, whether it be any of these things. It's so important for us as women to be intentional about our goals or about our certain aspirations, whatever it is that you desire within your heart that either may have been placed on your heart by God that he's asking you to do, and you may not know the necessary steps, or something that you just desire to accomplish, whether it be this year, whether it be within the next few months, because we are officially at almost the 6-month point within this year, which is, oh my God, it's such a blessing. When I think of new months, I think of new blessings. I think of new abundance. I think of new life to the things that God is bringing within your life. And there will be some seasons where God just wants us to be still. And maybe he just wants us. And what do I mean by being still? And what does God mean by being still? Sometimes being still in a season means that God just wants you to continue to rest in him and do the thing that you've been doing. Whatever he's shown you to do, he might not want you to pivot. He might not want you to shift. He might not want you to change or move. He might just want you to continually be consistent in whatever it is that he's placed within your hands to do at that moment. Sometimes we lose sight of that. Can I be real with you? Sometimes we lose sight of what's in front of us, the goal that God has given us, because the season may seem slow and it may seem like nothing's happening, but you have to get to a point of consistency first. Consistency is key to everything. Yes, And one thing also, so if you are taking notes right now, I know I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm all over the place with this episode, but this is a nugget I'm about to drop on you. You can change the way it happens. You can change the steps towards it. You can change the pace towards the goal, but never change the goal. Keep the goal in your mind. Not saying that you have to continually be like, oh my gosh, like I gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. Sometimes that's the way it is in life, and you're just thinking that you're keeping it in the forefront of your mind. Yes, it's important for us to keep these things that we're desiring or that God has placed upon our heart to accomplish within, these months or this year or maybe even years ahead. We know that things take time. So it's important to, yes, keep the goal in mind, keep the intentions in mind that God has given you set towards the thing that he has called you to do. Yes, all these things are important to do, but never lose sight of the goal by chasing it. Never lose sight of the promises of God by chasing after it so much that you don't have time to actually acknowledge or take in or appreciate the current blessings, the current season that you are in, the current things that are right in front of you. Sometimes we can look so far ahead that we lose sight of what's already in front of us because we're looking past what's in front of us already to ahead. And there's nothing wrong with being focused and having intentions towards what's ahead, but don't lose sight of what's in front of you. Sometimes you can miss what God is saying. You can miss God in certain circumstances and situations because you're so rushed to get to the next level, to get to the next season, to get to the next in general, because we live in this culture of hustle grind. We live in this culture of I gotta get it. We live in this culture of no sleep. We live in this culture of I gotta do what I gotta do, and it's I sleep when I die. Real talk. I've heard it so many times. But what about taking the time out to rest in God, seek the face of God daily concerning these plans and these intentions and these things that he's given you upon your heart? Taking the time out to develop a plan, taking the time out, not necessarily being stuck to the plan, because in life we can, if you be real about it, God is subject to change those plans every single time. You ever heard the saying, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans? Because the truth is that is real. We can tell God our plans. We can write down our plans. We can write things down step by step by step. But when God steps in, he can change our plans just like that. And the blessing of it, though, is sometimes you may not feel as though the season that you're in, after you've made your plans, when God intervenes, it may not feel like or look like the promise. It may not look anything like the promise that God has given you. But you must understand that God's ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not our thoughts. We have to get to a point of understanding that God is God alone and that he can intervene at any time when he chooses to do so because he's God. But we have to learn how to be appreciative, or we have to learn how to be content with the season that we're in, even if it doesn't look like what we want it to look like, even though it doesn't feel like what we want it to feel like. I know I can definitely attest to that. I've been in some seasons of my life where I'm looking at my life and I'm just like, or I have looked at my life, even looked at my life in the past too, and in the current future. And I've been like, Lord, the math is not mathing. Like, it does not look like, it does not feel like what I thought it would feel like in certain aspects of such. It could be towards a dream, a goal, a vision that God has given you. You're like, sometimes I can look at the situation. I can be like, Lord, this looks nothing like what you showed me. This looks nothing like what I envisioned to look like. And I get this little inkling or this little interruption. And in a sense, like, it's not supposed to, because it's my plan. It's my will. And that's when God steps in, he corrects He corrects you. God will correct you in a way where it will humble you in a sense where you will be like, all right, okay, God, I got you. And you have to learn how to rest in him. Sometimes God will allow a season of slowfulness because he wants you to rest in him. He wants you to seek his face more. He wants to develop a closer relationship with you. He wants to get the glory out of your situation. So we must learn to be content in every single season of our life, whether we're seeing the promises of God, whether we're waiting on the promises of God, whether we've gone through the storm to get to the promises of God, whether we have completely walking on the outside and we're just on the outside looking in and we're like, okay, God, I've been through the storm, I've been through the test, I've been through the trial, I've been through the tribulation, I've experienced these things, I'm appreciative. I have the faith in you. My faith is strengthened in you. I'm acknowledging the season that I'm in. I'm taking inventory of the things that I had to learn in this season. Okay, Lord, where is the promise? Because a lot of times we get to that point where we feel as though, okay, we've done what we're supposed to do. We feel like as though we've finished the current season or test that we're in, and it's time for the next. And we're like, Lord, where is the next? And sometimes God will still have us waiting, but that's just how God is. He's like, he may say it may be, even though we're looking at our current circumstance and we're like, oh Lord, I just went through all of this, or I've been through all of this, and I've done so many different things, and I've been obedient to your will. Okay, we may think in our finite mind that we're ready for whatever it is that the promises of God for our life, but only God knows. Only God knows when we're ready. I encourage you to take inventory of this past month in your life. What is something that God has spoken to you? Have you been listening to the voice of God concerning your life? Have you been taking notes down? Have you been intentional about your time and where you put it? Have you been intentional about these things that you are working towards, that you desire? Because a lot of times we desire things, and the very things that we desire require more of us. To whom much is given, much is required. We could be in a season of wanting something and praying for something, but God is saying not yet, because we have not matured in a certain area of our walk, of our life, and spiritually, to get to that promise that we're seeking God for. Are you even content in the season that you're in? Because when you're content and you experience or you practice gratitude in your current circumstance or season, then that is when God can step in and really begin to cause a divine interruption in your life. It could be a divine interruption in your spiritual walk with him. It could be a divine interruption within your spiritual maturity. It could be a divine interruption in your growth. Like me, for real, I'm looking at myself, because this is a current goal that I've been working towards for forever, especially since I've had my daughter, and that would be like losing weight. It's like losing weight it's a hard, to me personally, I can speak for myself, it's a hard journey, because there are certain things that I like, but my diet is completely like, I'm not going to say it's 100% clean, because no, it's not. I like sweets and all these different things, but I do not eat meat. So therefore, the only other thing that I eat are vegetables. Like I eat a lot of salads and greens and different leafy greens and carrots and different things and cucumbers. I eat healthy. There's a balance to what I eat, but I don't get the necessary movement to go along with what I'm eating, because my diet does not match my physical well-being as far as my physical fitness journey. So I have to be more intentional about these things. If we are desiring certain things in our life, we must either mature or we must get a certain discipline in certain areas in order to go forth. And that's something that I've taken acknowledgement of. We first have to acknowledge that, yes, I have a problem, or either, yes, I know that I am the problem and I need to do some things in order to accomplish these things. It could be For example, it can be a mental thing in the mind, like when it comes to accomplishing certain things that God may have spoken on your over your life, an idea he may have given you, a desire to be in leadership, in a leadership role in your job, or even in the church. It could be a desire to lead in a certain area, to lead in the choir, to lead praise and worship, to lead the women's group or women's ministry in the church, uh, um, to lead Bible study, to do these different things. But what are the things that you are putting in place what are the things that you are implementing to go forth in that? Are you stepping out on faith? Is it something that you may have been fearful about in your past, and you've allowed it to dictate your future and your decision making and your obedience to God? What are these things that are getting in the way of you accomplishing whatever it is that God has called you to do, even if it be your purpose? What is getting in the way? Are you being intentional about your goals? Are you standing firm in those things? Are you taking the necessary steps? Everything does not have to be perfect for you to start. Like I'm a living witness to that. Everything that I've ever started, like whether it be this podcast, whether it been my jewelry business, whether it been any different things in my life, I can't say I've waited till it to be for it to be perfect, because if I did, it never would, because nothing is ever perfect in this life. We have to get to a point of not wanting to please other people, but seeking to please God, because if He's told you to do something, or if He's asked you to do something, you are intentionally being disobedient to the will of God for your life. And then we wonder why we have these outcomes. We wonder why we're in a season of stillness. We're in a season of where it feels just like we're in a season of lack. But you cannot lack anything when you're in the will of God. That means that there's a season of abundance. Every season there's an abundance. With every season, we're coming into a new month, but we're coming out of an old month. But if you are being intentional about what God has placed within your heart to do, and you are being obedient to His will for your life, and you are taking the necessary steps, it does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be this pretty little picture put together thing. Everything that God calls us to do, honestly, is it's going to seem like it's out of the box. It's going to seem like it's kind of completely, utterly out of the box crazy sometimes, some of the things that God has asked us to do. I mean, if you even look back in the biblical times, like in the Bible, when we read these different stories, we read about Joseph, we read about Abraham, we read about Mary, we read about Jonah, we read about John, we read about these different people in the Bible and these different passages, and the things that even Noah building the ark. Like, we look at these different situations, and everything that God required of them or asked of them may have seemed so vast and crazy. But at the end of the day, when they were obedient to whatever it was that God was asking of them, it ended up coming together. And this is the difference between trusting the will of God and trusting our own will, because I personally can say that I have tried to do things in my own will and in my own might and in my life, but I haven't been able to get very far. But with God in my life and me allowing Him to take the wheel, me just acknowledging Him and literally like just being open with God, just being real with God, just being who I am, and just allowing God to just be God in my life as the head of my life, I have experienced a lot of things. Has the journey been perfect? Absolutely not. Has it been pretty? No, not always. But it's been real. Have I learned a lot? Yes. Have I grown? Yes. Spiritually, emotionally, physically, all the aspects as such. I've learned so much in the journey. I've been through some things, but the things that I went through have created my strength through God even more, have built the foundation of my life, because I have God in my life. I have a connection with Him. I have a relationship with Him. So I'm able to I'm able to practice gratitude in my life for the things that he's already done. I have more gratitude towards these things. I have more gratitude and I'm thankful. I have a thankful heart towards the things of God that he does for me, because when you get an understanding that God is just God and who he is, he really doesn't have to do a thing for us, but he loves us just that much to want to do something for us, to want to give us a divine purpose here in this earth, to want to give us a divine purpose to a point where we have such a strong desire to please him and do the will of the Father that it just aligns with our life the way God sees fit. And everything goes in its proper place and in decency and in order when you allow God to be God in your life. Stop waiting for it to be perfect. Stop waiting for it to be this pretty put together picture, because it's not ever going to be. I'm honestly being real with you. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for the perfect place. Stop waiting for the perfect circumstance. We are in almost the 6th month of this year. I encourage you to look back over these last few months. If you wrote down something at the beginning of this year, are you walking in it? Are you even stepping in close to it? Have you even begun to scratch the surface of it? Have you been trusting the will of God through it all? Have you really been seeking God's face? Have you really been practicing gratitude in your life? Have you really begun to have a sense of contentment towards the things in the season that you're in? The season that you're in may not look pretty right now. It may be ugly. It may not feel good. It may not look good. But I tell you one thing, it's your life, it's your story. But it's up to you to make the choice to allow God to step in so that he can change the trajectory of your life. But not only when your life trajectory is changed, it changes the trajectory of your entire family's life. It changes the trajectory of all of those people that are connected to you, whether it be in a workplace, whether it be in the church, whether it be outside of the church, the people's lives that you come in contact with. We all have a role to play within the body of Christ as women of God. We all do. There's no big eyes and little U's. We all play a major part of the body of Christ. But it's up to you to decide to be intentional about what God has given you, why you are here, so that you may carry out the will of God for your life, to experience the true promises of God. It's bigger than just you. It's bigger than just having a platform. It's bigger than just having a name. It's bigger than just having a title. This is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. And when God has given you a life, it's meant to be lived. It's meant to be intentional. It's meant to be focused. It's meant to have joy. It's meant to have fun. It's meant to have peace. It's meant for you to walk out the promises of God. It's meant to be fruitful. It's meant to be fruitful. It's meant to be full. It's meant to be lovely. Yes, it's going to be a journey. Yes, you may experience some pain. Yes, you may experience some hurt, but it's all a part. It's all a part of the plan of God for your life. It's all a part of the plan, because it's in order for our faith to be true, it has to be tested. It has to be tested in order for us to be able to pull someone else out, in order for us to be able to uplift someone else, in order for us to be able to encourage somebody else, in order for us to just be a living, walking, breathing example of God's love in every aspect of such. It does not have to be in a perfect way. There doesn't have to be a certain approach. There doesn't have to be a certain check off list of things that you have to do. Write the vision down that God has given you. Make it plain. And even if you don't know what it is that God has called you to do, and purposed you by design to do. Then start small. Start with small steps. Start with first seeking the face of God. Start with reading the word of God. And as you begin to start this journey with God, He will reveal to you exactly where you need to be, exactly what you need to do, exactly the moment that you recognize who you are in Him. That changes everything. I just wanted to get on. I pray that I encouraged you. I pray that I sparked, that I lit some fire within to start looking over them goals, sis. Start looking at that thing that God has been speaking to you about. Start start digging deep within. Start writing some things down. Those little unctions in your heart that you feel towards certain things, that idea that you've been pushing to the back or to the side because you're too busy, that idea that you've been putting on the back burner, like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to accomplish it, it's too big. No, there's nothing too big for God. If God placed it in your heart, then there is a way to walk that thing out. But you can't do it without God, sis. You can't do it without God. I encourage you, sis, as we're going into this new month, be intentional. Be intentional. Get focused about the things of God for your life. Get focused about your life in general. Start getting serious about it, because we're here for a purpose. We're not here for our own leisure. Not saying that you always have to be moving every minute, not saying that you always have to be doing something. But as long as you're doing something for God, whether it be resting in Him, whether it be meditating on His word, whether it be praying and seeking the face of God, you're being intentional. I love you, sis. I pray that this blessed you. Share with another sis that needs this push. Share with another sis that needs this encouragement. Share with another sis who's been stagnant lately, so you can kind of knock on her and be like, sis, you know what you're capable of doing. You know what God has called you to do. You have a purpose. Write those things down. Go back and refer to those things. Have you been intentional? Start making some necessary steps. I love you, sis. I pray this blessed you again. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until next time, remember that we are all her, healing, evolving, and rising with God leading. Bye-bye.